We were seeing an increased amount of people, unfortunately, going into hospital from ambulance conveyance from care homes with falls. Falls is one of the highest reasons for being conveyed into hospital. The kind of default process for a lot of the care homes was to call 111 999 and get those people seen by an ambulance crew.
So before we had the Raizer 2 and HelpFall, would just purely be a judgment call, but then it would result more than likely in a 999 call.
Particularly since COVID, we are seeing much more delayed response times, even for the higher category calls within our area. So it's really important that we do as much work as possible to reduce the stress on the ambulance service so that they can respond to the people that really need it at the time they really need it. So we received some national funding from NHS England on a recurrent basis to support the ageing well policies within the North East Essex and Suffolk area. The reason that we chose HelpFall to roll out across our system was because A, it's really simple and easy to use. The QR code is actually on the Raizer chair that the carer is about to actually use. Secondly, the questioning was worded in a really, again, simplified way that makes sense for the person who's actually conducting the assessment of the patient. So the report that actually goes back to the provider, giving very clear guidance on what decisions were made during that process, following, of course, the NICE guidelines. And now it's that so what element. So even though you've done that assessment, yes, someone may be hurt and it may not be safe to pick that person up, but do you have to call 999? Maybe not. And where it gives the information about the UCR services so that they can respond in an urgent community response way, then that really helps support our system moving forward.
So since we've had the Raizer chair, we have had a few times where we've had to use it. We've had a time where a lady basically her legs had given way and she needed to be lowered to the floor. I did use HelpFall to obviously ensure that I was doing the right thing before manoeuvring the lady. By going through all the checks, I noticed that it was okay for me to stand her. So we used the Raizer 2 to stand, and then obviously we transferred from the Raizer to her chair. But yeah, and then I filled out the report and sent that over to our email. It is helpful. It is really good, and it takes a lot of stress off of us. Obviously the HelpFall gives us that little bit more reassurance when it comes to our decision of moving. We have targeted this pilot at the top 20 care homes that had the most amount of falls, and the impact has been significant. We've seen an 84% reduction in ambulance call-outs to care homes that have been using this HelpFall app with the Raizer chair, which is a phenomenal achievement so far. But also, really importantly, there's been a reduction in the no abnormality conveyance rate. So no abnormality conveyances are generally for people that have been taken into the emergency department to be checked over and sent home with possibly nothing more than a letter to their GP just to say that that person has fallen. And that has reduced from 27% to 0% for these care homes using the HelpFall app. So that really does save a huge amount of time, not only for the crews and the conveyancing, those people at the front door of hospital, then all the discharge team. This is a huge process that takes a lot of time and logistics. So on top of that, the benefit for the patient is they've not had to go into hospital, they've been able to stay at their home. We've also seen an 80% reduction in the amount of ED attendances for care homes for falls with the ones using this particular system. So right across our board, we're making a really big change here with a really simple tool. We've just had our letter from NHS England around community falls responses. So we're really trying to figure out now as a system how we roll things out in the best way, using the funds appropriately for our community. And I think the HelpFall app, being available to all of our care homes across not only Suffolk but North East Essex as well, will really enable a short, sweet, simple decision-making process that will hopefully reduce
the amount of people being conveyed to hospital. So it's a very simple thing that could have quite a significant impact on our system.